Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I'm Farooq Hassan and you're watching a new episode of Sky is the Limit. Today I'm going to introduce an amazing educationist, social worker who hails from Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and she's doing a lot of work in the remote areas of KP. I'm talking about Henna Karamat. We are at her place. Let's go and see her. Assalamu alaikum, Henna.
Walaikum assalam.
So good to see you.
Same here. Welcome.
You know, I had heard so much about you, so I thought I'm going to go and see you myself.
Sure, have a seat, please.
Thank you. So, I'm doing this program by the name of Sky's the Limit, and I think you qualified to be as a guest in this program. So, Henna, what a pleasure to be here with you today, and I've been hearing a lot about the work that you've been doing. So tell me, what are you up to these days?
Thank you so much, Farooq, for having me here in this show. A lot is happening. I mean, at times I just feel that 24 hours, they are very less. I'm teaching, I'm training, I am into management, decision making, planning for the future. So everything is just like something at times, it's a roller coaster ride.
And you don't get time for yourself?
Well, that's my time. I thoroughly enjoy my work.
It's your passion?
It's my passion.
Great.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell us, our viewers would like to know, what exactly are you doing right now?
Currently, I'm into management. I'm basically into planning and development side in the government. And that's the higher education, where I am making plans for the faculty and for the staff that, how they can be trained, modernization of the education, 21st century skills, and specifically my focus is more on the skill-based education.
And what models are you following? Are you making your own, creating your own models, or are you copying the West, or what model works the best for this country?
I believe that this is my training. I have been traveled and I have been working with some international institutions and organizations. It is something that sometimes models, maybe I look up to some success stories in the world. However, it's more like where you have to think global and act local. So I would look at the local context, which is very important. For example, I'm working into the far-flung areas, such kind of regions in Pakistan, where we do not have the facilities, where we do not have the trained staff and the faculty, and also the infrastructure is not developed.
You're talking about remote areas?
Remote areas,
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And then people coming from the remote areas, so definitely I have to see that the kind of the workforce that we have to prepare. So we have local challenges. The models, I am a researcher, I study, I see, I work, I travel, I talk to the people, I follow the best practices. However, my focus is more that something which is deficient here in our context, I should work more on that. So because I customize as per the requirements and needs as well.
So what are the basic challenges that you face? Are the people that you train, are they receptive? Do they appreciate what you're doing? And how do you gauge the outcome of your training? That it has been a success, or it's a futile exercise? How do you gauge that?
Well, over the years I have learned a lot from my failures, and I try to make these setbacks opportunities for myself.
Learned a lot from your failures?
Yes.
That's a sign of a true leader. Okay.
Yes, I have. Because I was very much, I remember that I am an ambitious person, and I thoroughly believe that people should have ambitious, not over ambitious, but I am very realistic at the same time. As I told you in the beginning, that I see the local market, I see the biggest challenge that I have is the workforce. At times it's very challenging to get the people who are like-minded people, or I am a very good team lead and I'm a manager. This is something that I have learned, that I make people to come and work under one roof, and we have certain points. What I do is that I train first, I take my time, I do a lot of homework, and then I go and I implement. Sometimes that there is whatever goals that I have, I do the need analysis first. Okay. So that if I'm taking any risk, where so many people and stakeholders are involved. So they should be calculated risks. And this is how I have learned, and now I understand over the years, I understand my work, and this is what I do, that whenever I do something, I have few goals, and I just try to make my objectives very realistic so that I achieve my goals.
And what specific areas of like academia or knowledge imparting, what do you teach exactly to these in these remote areas? What subjects do you focus on?
I'm working for the women empowerment. When it comes to women empowerment, so I always see in my culture, it's the financial stability that they need. And at times they have a lot of skill, they have talent, but that is most of the time wasted, or other people come and they take advantage. So what I do is mostly these days that we are reaching to people. There are awareness campaigns that we are doing.
Okay.
Not necessarily that everyone has to be a college graduate or has to be in a school or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I am more prone towards that, the entrepreneurial ventures that I'm doing, and this is something that, I'm training specifically the female population of the region.
I know for a fact, I've been born and brought up here in Pakistan. The remote areas usually they try to stick to their certain ways that they're used to or groomed to. And if there's any change or if there's any training, usually there's some kind of resistance. Did you face any issues in that regard?
Absolutely, a lot of resistance.
Mm-hmm. And especially you being a female.
I was coming to this point. Of course that, our areas, and this is what I say, that it's not only in Pakistan, it's most of the countries that, I have seen, because I travel, I meet people. However, when it comes to our region, if a female is in the management and at a leadership position, so it's not easy.
Yeah.
So there are ways. Like definitely when I talk to these people, I talk to for example, the elders, I talk to the senior people, and I take them on board. And then you have to listen to them. It's mostly a win-win situation at times. So it's that you have to reconcile few things, and this is what I do. But being a female, there are many challenges. It's always the other that they see in me, for example, but now over the years I believe in gradualism, and I have seen that I know that revolutionary change is not possible, and it may not be sustainable.
Overnight change is not possible.
Absolutely. And this is something that I'm taking my time. I have taken my time, and now I see that for example, everything that I have been doing over these years is now making sense.
Okay.
And people have started believing in me.
Okay.
Yeah.
This. Okay, great. So tell me, if I was to quantify you've been training for how long now?
It's been more than 17 years now.
17 years.
Yeah.
So if I was to ask you how many people have you trained, or how many people have benefited from your skills, would you be able to put a number to it?
Well, the number is so much, because I'm a professor by profession. Mm-hmm. Now I'm in management.
Wow.
I love teaching. I have always been very much inspired by my teachers.
Okay.
So if I see only at the campus where I have been teaching, for so many years, it's there are 4,000, 5,000 students, and I'm an activist as well. I do social work. So for example, one small gathering would be people of 3,000 people or 2,000 people, something like that, and then small focus groups as well. Mm-hmm. So that number would be somewhere between, because I worked in Sindh, and then Punjab, and then Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, everywhere, almost entire Pakistan. Mm-hmm. So they are in thousands, of course. Okay. I remember the number because I'm a master trainer by profession.
Okay.
Of higher education. So at that point of time when they asked me the stats, so it was 5 years back, it was somewhere 25,000.
25,000.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. You're touching so many lives. Henna, we're going to talk about your personal life, what was your childhood like, and your early education, and where did you go, and then you went abroad also. But what was the inspiration for becoming a teacher, a professor? You're a professor now, mashallah, and you're now in management. Teaching takes a lot of patience. So who inspired you to become a teacher?
One of my aunts.
Okay.
I was very close to my aunt. She is my maternal aunt, my mother's sister. So she was my first teacher, definitely my mother. She has been such, and I just wanted to be like her. I used to think that, oh my gosh, they have like, you know, a lot of knowledge. And then my teachers at school, few teachers, those who were always very encouraging. Because I was a very, very shy student.
Shy student?
Yes. I had stage fright and
You
phobia.
had stage fright?
Yes.
And now you are a master trainer?
I'm a master trainer, I'm a public speaker.
So, how did that transformation occur?
There's a lot of contradiction. When I see back, I look back, I used to be so shy that I would see crowd and my heartbeat would increase. I would never be able to face camera and all these, and now it's all the time there are cameras around and like, you know.
And now she was giving me tips how I should face the camera. You know? I was really impressed. Okay, cool. So how did the transformation happen?
The transformation, as I told you, that I had few role models. I would always get inspired, somebody who's sharing knowledge and somebody who's so confident on stage, and I would take notes and would imitate, would stand in front of a mirror and would copy them, their style, and would listen to the speaker, international speakers, and something like, and this is how that, you know, it all started. I still remember one good day at school. By the way, I love school. I still miss it.
Really?
Yes.
You're one of those students who would never give up on school. Well, actually, we all do, but only the games periods and the sports, you know, hour and all that stuff. Not the studies part. That was very tough.
By the way, at that point of time when I was doing my matriculation, I was like, Urdu was something which was very difficult for me. And I fell in love with my Urdu teacher. And I memorized so many verses of Iqbal, and then, like, you know, I started understanding, and then I used to take part in bedbazi competitions and all that. So this actually turned, and by the time I reached to metric, I was a totally different person. I remember that when people would bully me, laugh at me, oh, she's shivering and all that. But I believe that I remained, when somebody would ask me that if there is one word that you can use for yourself, that would be fighter. I have always been, and I never ever thought about, my training was because I'm blessed to have parents who have been, like, you know, very supportive. Especially my mother, because she has spent a lot of time with us. My father was very busy and all that. He was a government servant, and so he was traveling and all these kind of things. So my mother, she always motivated me to the extent that, okay, you can do it. You can do it.
You're the youngest in the house?
No, I'm in the middle.
In the middle.
So I had so many role models in the family, very, very confident role models. So but my mother would never compare me with anyone. So she was my mentor. And then my teachers, and then when I went to the college, my college is one of the best colleges of the region. So when I went there and I saw so many, like, you know, women leaders over there.
Which college did you go to?
I'm a graduate of Jinnah College, Peshawar.
Jinnah College.
Yes.
It's all female college?
It's all female college. Yeah. Yes. And then I went to, I'm a graduate of University of Peshawar. Then I went abroad. I studied there. And I remember that point of time where all my proposals, I would send my research proposal to any foreign university and it will be rejected. Sometimes people would make fun that, okay, it's a funny idea that you're working, but I never knew that all these efforts, they're not going to be in vain.
They're not futile.
Yeah, they're not futile. And then a point came where people started calling me, come over and speak about it.
Let's talk.
It's not, let's talk. And this is how that my life changed.
Wow. So, Henna, you're a role model, I must say, coming from the region, from that region where, you know, like, it's very difficult, especially for women to, you know, come up and do all the stuff that you're doing. How do we create more Hennas? Like, how do we have more female participation in this kind of a program where they go out, you know, reach out to people, train them, you know, how do we do that?
What I have done lately, that I have come into social work, and now it's a high time where I'm giving back to my community primarily and my country. And when I got this opportunity, I traveled, and I remember there was one gathering when somebody asked me questions about Pakistan, and I had less knowledge. And then I realized that I need to know more. And then my identity as a Pakistani woman at an international forum, this actually was the point where I realized, okay, I need to, and before that, that Pakistaniyat was never so strong.
Okay.
And during these last 10 years, I have been involved into girl child education. I implemented so many programs in the region. And this is how that, there are so many females who were looking up to me, and even I train males as well. I have a lot of mentees. And how am I creating more Hennas or people like myself? I mean, like for me, gender is something that, I've never thought about it, that I would believe it's just that, whenever I'm mentoring someone, I have male students, female students, and I have juniors, I have my colleagues who actually, they ask me that how do I do so many things, and like if I can guide them. So it's just that believe in yourself.
Okay.
Never give up. This is something, and all the boundaries and everything is just inside your mind.
Okay.
It's just the mindset that you need to change. And I started working on the mindsets, and this is how I started training people. It empowered me more, and now I'm working for the females. That's my community service that I'm doing, the service learning and all these things that I'm trying to make changes in our curriculum as well.
Wow.
The value system that we have, the stereotyping. And then, for example, I just recently did my one session on the media advocacy, where we also worked on that, the racism and the sexism and all these kind of things. And, very slowly and gradually, we are just making a community the change agents in our community, and it has a ripple effect. For example, one person has changed, so one family would change, one community would change. So I'm just trying to make leaders. We don't have leaders, unfortunately, and when it comes to women, it is really challenging. So I am training women as well. Great. Especially skill development, as I told you.
That's a very important point you mentioned. I remember I read somewhere that the role of a good leader is to create more leaders, not followers. Absolutely. So you need to empower people, and you need to make sure that it's a sustainable program. So Henna, okay, so this is something you do. This is linked to your profession, and you do trainings, and you're a professor yourself. You've been teaching. You've been a star achiever yourself. You brought so many laurels to the country. I believe you are a lot into social work also. So would you be able to give me a gist of that facet of your life?
Well, it started 10 years ago. I mean, like now I believe that when I started meeting people, and when parents would come and they talk about few things, and I brought some opportunities. I had some like small projects and I implemented. And then I saw that, specifically these women, they need help, and they have the skills, they have the passion, but they don't have the opportunity. So I started providing them opportunities. I would create opportunities. My friends really helped me. My family helped me, like-minded people in the community. And this is how that we made an organization, and we started helping people, and especially women. I started training them. Somebody who wants to go for study abroad, and then later on, if they want to become entrepreneur, they want to start their startup. So I started their networking with the right people. In that, I'm truly indebted to all my friends and colleagues and my seniors who helped me in my cause. And they'll just call away, and I ask them, okay, we have this problem, and this is how that I have been helping my friends, whether it's the street children education, whether it's just adopting. So at times that your resources are very less. So but what we do is that I have the friends and the colleagues who really help me in this, and this is how I started. My focus nowadays is that.
Do you have an NGO, or have you branded your platform? Or you're just doing it on a random basis?
Yeah, no, I'm working with one. That's a volunteer work that I'm working with them, and it's for the women education, then like just giving them some skills, training them, providing them opportunity, and this is what I'm doing. And with me, I mean like I have a few people on the panel, and we all are working on volunteer basis.
Great.
Yeah.
So viewers, we are in conversation with Henna, Karamat, and I'm picking so much of positive energy, positive vibes, and this is the kind of star Pakistani who makes Pakistan stronger. We're going to take a short break and we're going to continue our conversation with Henna. You don't go away, stay tuned. Welcome back to Sky is the Limit. I'm Farooq Hassan and we are in conversation with Henna Karamat. Henna hails from Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and she's doing a lot of volunteer jobs, volunteer work, and she's a professor herself. She's been training a lot and she's been trying to uplift the remote areas of KP. Henna, before the break I was talking about the social work that you've been doing. So you told me that you don't have a specific platform or an NGO for that matter, but you're doing it on a one-off basis. Wherever there's a need, you go there, and you have friends also who are helping you.
Yes.
What was the inspiration behind this? You just one day you woke up and you said, okay, I do a lot of stuff. I do trainings and all, and I teach also, and let me start doing social work also. Or was there a group of friends or family who actually inspired or motivated you? Okay, let's you should look at this area also.
Yes, especially my mother. She has always been telling me that something that you're born in a family that you had all the support, but at my house, at my home, I have seen that we had help. And I have always seen that my mother and my family, and especially the females in my family, they have always been helping somebody who is getting married, and then my father was also into charity work. And that was basically that I inherited from my family. But later on, when I was working in the region, so I won 3 mega grants for the province. And it was that, to train the females of my region, and it was an after-school program. When the 3rd program, it finished, at that point of time, I realized that it should not stop. And we shouldn't be looking at the other people come and help us. Let's do it ourselves. Okay. Mostly what happens that, because at times that we have resources, and I started managing my time in such a way that okay, let's make a community of practice, and then we would sit together, and I started utilizing my off days.
Oh, okay.
So it's mostly the Saturday and the Sunday that I'm working this work, and I feel so happy. I feel so empowered to see other people getting empowered.
What exactly do you do?
We just, for example, we train people. There are entrepreneurship business idea competitions that we have launched in the province.
Okay. This is besides your
besides
job.
My job,
oh, okay.
Because my job is now it's a management job. It's so hectic. So it's my hobby as well. You can say that helping people, meeting different people. It gives me that window that okay, I need to socialize. I need to sit and over a cup of tea or coffee. I need to discuss ideas that what we can do. And now people, they know me as well. Through me, so many doors have been opened for other women, especially women, and of course men as well, those who are in need. I sit in the interviews and different panels, and at times that we don't have a lot of slots and vacancies and jobs. So what I do when I see some maybe a male or a female candidate who's really good, I say, okay, would you like to work with me as an attorney? And then I would talk to the donors, and most of the time they say, okay, we will pay them. And this is how it started.
Wow.
And it's because we don't have the workforce, and wherever I see talent and I see passion, to be honest, I love to work into, it's all my passion that I'm working. At times people ask me, how do you manage? But it's just that, you know, I really wanted to do something. And the gaps and the lacks that I have seen in my life, because if my family can provide, most of the families in our society, they cannot provide. Mostly people are just still fighting for food, shelter and clothing, not only in Pakistan, but in the whole world. So we tried that, you know, okay, let's identify the talent and use it for, like, you know, for something like, you know, which is beneficial for both of them. So it's always a win-win situation. This is how I get the workforce, and this is how they get the benefit. And then most of my internees they're having regular jobs now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So tell me, Henna, dealing with bureaucracy, you've been a part of it yourself, and then, you know, there's so many ideas that one has, and like you, I can see that, you know, like that light in your eyes, you know, this light up whenever you're talking about those, it's your passion. Sometimes implementing them requires a lot of permissions, you know, procedural checks, and it's very frustrating. How do you deal with that?
Initially, it was very, very frustrating for me when I was in a learning stage. Later on, it turned out to be very, very simple. I believe that now things have changed for the better, and people have this exposure, people have this understanding. World has changed a lot. So yeah, the challenges challenges that I have, they are more cultural challenges at times that I face.
Okay.
If I need to implement something. So people would see it, some people, not everyone. We have really progressive people, and they just team up with you, and then you start working together. There are failures, there are challenges in the middle, but at the end, like, you know, when they see also that, and now I am working from a long period of time, so there is a trust level that, for example, if we cannot achieve or if we do not achieve our goals, it's not a blame game mostly. I have seen that now people, they help each other. And so I always see the positive side.
Okay.
And I am, because if I start looking at the challenges more, because, you know, you have to deal with them. And the spirit of not giving up is important.
Resilience.
Resilience.
You have to continue going on.
Absolutely.
Great, that's awesome. So you have all the right clicks, you know, like the checks as we call them. So you've had your professional life, you've done social work, people know you in your area, you've worked abroad also, so you have international exposure. So all the clicks and all the checks for being a very good politician. Do you want to join politics?
Well, I don't know. Lately, so many people, they are asking this question. If it is something for the better of my community, for the betterment of my community and nation, definitely. I remember when I was at Kathmandu, and I met somebody from Bangladesh, and there was a comment I really
Cherish that.
I cherish that. And when somebody compared me, when I was like talking to the public, and there were people from the South Asia, and I won the elections, and I became the leader of the South Asian community, and that basically my major is English. So I was training the English teachers over there. So somebody said, "Oh, I'm from Bangladesh, and you sound like Mohtarma Benazir Bhutto." Okay. It was a compliment for me. Because definitely such kind of ladies and such females that, you know, they are, there are so many more,
role
that, you know,
model,
Fatma,
of course.
Jinnah, and all of them. So they are my role model, and my role model also is, like, you know, I study Islamic history as well. So Hazrat Khudaija, who was the first wife of Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. So whenever I go to my communities, I say, see, she was the entrepreneur, she had her startup, and she was the first businesswoman in Islam. So, like, you know, we have an inspiration.
We have role models, yeah.
We have role models.
So I'd like to touch a little about your contribution towards literature in English, or English literature, you know, for that matter. And basically the Shakespearean society that probably you are going to establish in KP for the first time. Tell us something about that. What's your love with Shakespeare?
This is something that, you know, this love started when I was a college student. And I remember the first play that I read was Twelfth Night.
Okay.
And at that point of time, Shakespeare was very difficult for me. But when I started understanding, so drama as a genre is my favorite.
Okay.
I like fiction, I like poetry, but drama, and I started drama reading from Shakespeare at my college. And then one of the things that I started identifying myself with the protagonist, the female protagonist of Shakespeare's, and I saw that, okay, we have Desdemonas in our society and community. We have Lady Macbeths, we have Gertrude and all of them. And then when I was doing my MPhil, so I did my MPhil in Shakespeare, and then my PhD research is also in Shakespeare.
Are you doing PhD right
Yeah.
now? Oh, wow. Okay.
And I am comparing KP women with the Shakespeare's heroines. And this was something that, you know, initially it was for some people it was like, what are you talking about? Because the time and space, it is different. But it was that, you know, I talked to a lot of Shakespeares in the world. I went to Michigan State University for my literature review. I studied there. I came back. I wrote a proposal with the help of British Council on the 75th anniversary of Pakistan. They just wanted to celebrate and do something. So I always thought that, you know, it's very important. Literature is very important to sensitize people.
Mm-hmm.
The characters that we have, the stories that we have, it's everyone's story. We do have. And there are few things which are universal. And Shakespeare is universal.
Absolutely.
So I like him as a sonneteer as well, but as a dramatist, I saw his characters that, you know, they're more in our surroundings and our community. Then I wrote a proposal to the Shakespeare Institute in the United Kingdom.
Okay.
Yes.
That's on your own?
On my own. It was just a silly idea maybe, and I thought,
Okay.
okay, let's do it. I talked to one of my supervisors in the United States, and I said, can you just connect me? This is the power of networking, and like he was very helpful. See, these are those people who have inspired me. Time zones are different, everything is different. You know, they are the ones who believe in sharing. There are few people in the world. And I was connected to the director of the Shakespeare Institute, a very well-known figure, Professor Michael Dobson.
Okay.
And I just wrote an email that, can we have a Zoom meeting? And one good morning, I saw that. It was like, yes, why not? And I wrote a proposal I sent, and like, you know, this was the first ever from Pakistan which was accepted.
Okay.
And recently I went to the Shakespeare Institute as a first Pakistani woman.
Okay.
And I represented Pakistan, and I told them, and they were like, there were people from the South Asia, there are Pakistani scholars, but nobody has ever taken this initiative to make a Shakespeare society in collaboration with the Shakespeare Institute at Stratford-upon-Avon. So I just went there, talked to them, and they were convinced. I came back to Pakistan and launched my first ever KP's Shakespeare Society.
KP's Shakespeare Society?
Yes, I started with the KP, and now it will be in almost all the provinces.
Are you going to replicate the Globe also?
Yes, I did one.
Okay.
Yes, a Globe Theatre in Peshawar. I did it a few years back, and this is something that, you know, when I send the pictures to my colleagues at the Shakespeare Institute, so they were amazed, and the Shakespeare Royal Company, they also approached me. So there's so much that, you know, that is going to happen.
Wow.
And I'm really excited, and I'm truly thankful to all those people who supported me, especially the director of the Shakespeare Institute, Professor Michael Dobson. And he did a lot of volunteer work with me, because and then I not only that, you know, the Afghan culture, the KP culture, the Pakistani culture, I did a number of presentations over there. So I spent some time at the Shakespeare Institute, and now they are helping me out to launch that Pakistan's Shakespeare Society.
So we do not have a Pakistan Shakespeare Society, but it's in the process of being launched.
That is basically directly affiliated with the Shakespeare Institute. Yes, we don't have that.
So how do you juggle all these things together, huh? Like your profession, you're being a professor, you know, you're going out, traveling to remote areas, your social work that you're doing, and then of course this literary side of yours, you know, like this Shakespeare Society and your contribution towards that. How do you balance your life? Or do you? And then you have to give some time to your family also.
Yes,
I
I
believe.
do.
Yeah?
I am a family person.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm a family person. I love cooking.
Okay.
Because my mother, I mean, like, she is a master chef.
Oh, okay.
And she's my, like, I have seen my nani cooking like some Kashmiri dishes, like, because definitely I am
Half Kashmiri and half KP.
yes,
Huh?
yes,
Okay.
a hybrid breed. So I love cooking. I just, when I travel, I make Pakistani dishes for my foreigner friends.
And they would be loving it, I'm
They
sure.
love, and I know how to, like, make a round paratha and everything. So I'm like, I know all the household chores and everything. So it's just that, I manage, and I love family life.
Okay.
And over the years that, the time that I've spent abroad has made me more close to my family.
Mm-hmm.
And how do I manage, Farooq? It's just that, my passion, and I manage it very well. It's the time management that I do.
Okay.
I read also. I love music. I used to paint. I write as well.
Used to paint.
I used to paint.
You've given up painting.
Yes, I given up. I wanted to join an art school, but then I came into literature. But in literature, you have everything.
It's a creative
Everything.
field again.
Now I have students that, who do all the paintings and everything. So I just I did one of the art and culture exhibition in my region, and that was Rang Barse, in which all the students, they came and, like, they went to the archaeological site Haveli in Peshawar, and then we made it a gallery. It's more than 200 years old, and this is something that's my leisure time.
Okay.
Yes, that's my leisure time, and I believe that all the people who are successful in the world, they are good time managers.
That's the
And so-
key. That's the
yeah.
key. You need to manage your time, and I believe in that notion, Henna, that if you have a passion for something, you will always find time for it. So, usually people who multitask, like, people ask them, how is it possible, like, how can you do 4 things at one time? And I always tell them that if you manage your time, if you have passion for something, you will always find time for it. You will make time for it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure you would have noticed, like, if you meet a friend after 5 years, and like this talk that, why didn't you meet me? And you're always like, I couldn't find time enough. That's wrong. You always have time, but it's your priorities. What do you want to do? Every human being sets its priorities, like his or her priorities, and then acts accordingly. So if you have passion for social work, Shakespeare, your profession, you will obviously manage time. You will make sure that you give ample time to each activity of yours.
Absolutely.
That's the way?
I must not forget my family, because definitely my parents, they have been very supportive during all this journey, and my family. So yes, at times, like, but whenever I take any assignment, I take it very seriously. It's not that, I would just start something, would leave it in the middle. No, I always follow up. I always see. I just
Till the end.
till the end.
Oh, okay.
Till the end. Yes.
That's amazing. And any of your sisters? You've got 4 siblings,
Yes,
right?
we are 5.
You're 5.
Yes, my one sister, I mean, like, she's a psychologist, clinical psychologist
Okay.
in London, and my other sister, she was also an educationist, and I have 2 brothers. Yes,
Wow.
but we 3 daughters were very close to our father and all, and, like, we are the elder ones, and this is somehow that, my mother, she couldn't complete her studies. So she lived her dream, and she wanted to see the.
She lived her dream through you
Yes,
people.
yes.
She made sure that you people get the best of education.
Absolutely.
Awesome, great. It's so interesting sitting here, and I'm talking to an outperforming student at one time, and now she's a professor, and she hails from KP, an area where it's very difficult at times for females to excel in whatever they're doing. And she's proven this fact that if you have the passion, you can do it. So we're going to take a short break. We will continue our conversation with Henna Karamat. You don't go away, stay tuned. So Henna, now we're going to talk about a bit about your early childhood and what kind of a kid were you? Were you a naughty kid by any chance?
The kind of a kid I was, nobody would believe that I can be naughty.
Okay.
But I remember that, sometimes I would like put some pepper into the green tea and like of my aunt, because we used to live in the joint family system. So I have done all these kind of things, but I was very naughty. I was into sports a lot.
Oh really?
Yes.
Which games were you?
I remained for a good 7 years the captain of my baseball team.
Okay.
I studied at the army school, and my mother was a table tennis player, so I inherited maybe.
Table
So
tennis.
I played table tennis, and it's one of my favorite indoor games. And then baseball. That's why, I had the spirit of never to give up and always work hard and
Sports teaches you.
sports.
Okay. And were you a studious student? Like, were you a very hardworking student, or were you intelligent naturally, and you would just cram on the last night before the exam? What was your philosophy?
Well, as compared to my siblings, I was not that intelligent, because I would say that they were really good in studies. I was very much hardworking.
Okay.
So some are born great and some achieve greatness. So I was in the second
And some have
category.
greatness thrust upon
Thirst
themselves.
upon. Yeah. I always believe in preparation. Whether it's a small event or it is any presentation, it's anything. Now I have a lot of experience. At times I don't need any preparation, but still I would go research. I would see how people they are doing. I read a lot. Whenever I have leisure times, I travel. Mostly I'm traveling. So in my car, I always have books and some very, very inspirational leaders in the world. Definitely, I am one of those people who believe that inspiration and motivation comes from within.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to change your life, or one has to change, and it's something that where you decide. It's when I travel, so I mostly go to the bookshops.
Mm-hmm.
I love bookshops. I buy stuff. However, I strongly believe that it's when you decide that you need to change yourself, then things started they change for the better, and you need to channelize your efforts and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Oh, cool. That's great. That's awesome. So tell me, are you a foodie?
I am.
You are?
Yes,
It
but
doesn't show.
I'm a fitness freak.
Oh, okay.
I hope my gym instructor is not watching this program, because she has been giving me threats to come to the gym.
Okay.
But yes, I'm a very active person. I love to remain. It's not only the physical fitness. I also work on the mental health and your psychological well-being. That's really very important. So I do take time out, whether it's 3 times a day. So in a week, I definitely go and I do work out. I walk a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, and I am foodie.
You're a foodie.
Yes.
What's your favorite food?
I love steaks.
You love steaks.
I love steaks.
Any traditional food?
Yes.
KP is known for its
Yes,
culinary.
KP is known for the mutton and everything.
Chappal kebabs
Chappal
and-
kebabs
yeah.
and yes, I love.
You
chappal
dig that
kebab.
also?
Yes.
Oh,
I
okay.
love
Or you
chappal-
take it for granted, ye to chalo, like it's here, so
No,
I can eat it
I love
anytime.
Lahore.
Okay.
Even yesterday I was in Lahore, and I love food, but it's very spicy, because in KP we are not used to of so much spice.
Okay.
But I love food. I love to try different dishes, and yeah,
So-
I like sushi as well.
You like sushi.
Yeah.
So you're a meat lover.
I
You
am,
like
yeah.
meaty foods. Good. And what about your social life? Like, do you have a lot of friends, or you are very closed, conservative kind of a person that very few friends? What's your lifestyle in that?
I have very few friends. I have childhood friends till date, and they understand me. Definitely, I have to meet a lot of people. I travel. I am representing not only country, my province, and at different forums. There are very few females in the management. So I have good friends. I have good colleagues, but friends, they are different. Acquaintances, they are different. So my friends, they are very, very supportive. I don't give them a lot of time, because they know that Henna is working, and they don't disturb me, but we are always connected, and they are my big cheerleaders, and they always
Support you.
support me, always.
They're your backbone.
I am basically I am an introvert. My work makes me like, definitely I have to meet people. So I mean business, and I'm very professional, and
Focused.
I'm very focused. That's why lately, as I told you earlier, that I have become very close to my family as well. For me, my family is more important.
I'm
And
sure they must be very proud, your father, your mom, yeah,
yes,
whatever you're doing.
yeah, my aunts. I'm very close to one of my aunts, my maternal aunt, my mother's sister. So she's my best friend. So, and my mother also. But mothers, they're strict. So at times, like my juniors and all of them, your mother is strict, and you listen to your mother. So she's the only one that I would miss any call. But when I see that it's my father calling or mother calling, would never miss.
And you'll pick it up regardless.
Always, always.
So they haven't called in the last 1 hour.
You have taken my mobile.
That's something I have to do. So, any wish still unfulfilled, or any dream that you still want to make into a reality that is still pending?
One wish is that I want people. I wish that I can make people kind.
Kind.
Kindness is missing.
Yeah.
It's something that we all need. You need to understand people, and this is something that and my wish these days is that I really want to work on mental health. I want that few stereotypes and taboos that are attached to, and the stigmas attached to certain things, because when youth and young people and like my friends and family members at times, when they come to me and they share problems, so we don't have that support system.
Yeah. That's it.
So most of the time you have to, it's your own battle. Life is something that you understand, or one understands better. But I believe that we need to be more kind. This is something which I really want to work on.
I definitely subscribe to that, Henna. Kindness is one virtue that every human being should have. We should all be humane. At the end of the day, we need to look out for each other. Henna, it's been such a pleasure talking to you, and I wish I could have continued it for another so many hours, but time is limited on our hands, this program duration. But thank you so much.
Farooq, I just want to say one thing.
Yeah.
Wherever I go nowadays, I talk to, especially when I talk to youth, I tell them that you should take pride that Pakistan is one of the most beautiful countries in the world.
Absolutely.
And what this country has given us, even if throughout my life I try to pay back, but it's very less. So I tell them that just take pride in your identity, work for it, and I really want to do. And this is something that now wherever I go, I represent myself as a Pakistani woman, a new face of Pakistani woman. There are challenges for women all around the world, but how we need to be together and make safe spaces for each other.
Yeah, that absolutely very well said, Henna. Yeah, Pakistan, we all need to work collectively to make it one of the most strongest countries in the world. Inshallah Ta'ala, we will get there. Thank you so much for your time. It's been an honor. It's been so nice. Keep up the good work, and I wish you all the best. And whenever, if there's any assistance on my part or our team's part, we would always be there for you. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Viewers, this was Henna Karamat, leading prominent figure from Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, who's making a difference in the lives of so many people, working in remote areas, trying to uplift the society there, and we wish her all the best. I hope you got inspiration from this program. Inshallah Ta'ala, Farooq Hassan will meet you in another exciting episode of Sky is the Limit. Till then, Allah Hafiz.